It's time for another round of live, local, play-by-play coverage of Southwest Metro Sports on PSB Media.
1-1, Middlestead, the leader there, and he scores! Pretty amazing.
Watch the teamwork, tradition, and all-out competition unfold live on any streaming device.
And they're back to work again. Walking out is Trousseau again, and he scores again. What a start here for TJ Trousseau.
Zog throws it deep as a man. The catch is made, running down the sideline. 20-10. 5-touchdown Eden Prairie. First play of the second.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Molt Store, Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office, The Sun Current, Noodles & Company, Athlete PT, The Tavern on 4 and 5,
and in partnership with Minnesota Hockey Magazine and BEC TV.
On the run, Bame able to action. Looks over the middle, the catch is made.
Catch all of the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports. PSB Media.
Deflects it in deep. Berger plays away from him to the left wing boards. That bounces off a skate. Turned over to Aguilar. Shot and saves. Scores! Aguilar the shot. The rebound by.
Game time is coming up next.
Welcome to Eden Prairie High School. Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson with your coverage tonight of Lake Conference boys basketball. The undefeated Hopkins Royals look to extend their winning streak to 16 to begin 2015-16 season, taking on rivals, but historically the team that has always been in the loss column against these Royals, the Eden Prairie Eagles, who come in at 7-8. Last year, able to split the series. It was just David Flum's second win in 15 tries against the Royals and Ken Novak Jr. As we are underway, the tip is won. Jacobus tracks it down. Gillette carrying the ball into the front court. As the Eagles enter play tonight at 7-8, the alley-oop in and out. Couldn't get the rim bounce for Gillette, and it's cleared by the Royals. Shaheed with the basketball. He's the one that ended the Eagles season a year ago in the section finals. 1.3 seconds on the clock. Made 2 free throws for the win. 69-68, returning the favor. Eden Prairie winning by 1 point on late second free throws by Cho is the man with the basketball now as he buries a jumper just outside the painted area to tie this one up at 2 here on this home court to close out the regular season. First meeting in 2015-16 as Eric Davis tries to go for the alley-oop. Could not handle the one-handed sky pass from Amir Coffey. Blocked from behind is Jacobus. And taking the basketball into the front court is Johnson. On the move, Wright takes the jumper, too strong, kicks out. Wright gets the basketball over to Shaheed. An open 3 is good. And a quick timeout called by David Flum, not happy with the rotation of his defense and giving up those second chance opportunities on the offensive glass.
Yeah, good start to this game. Some entertaining action with a few alley-oop attempts. Funny, both of them missed, so I guess we're not quite in the and-one competition here in tonight's game, but really looking forward to this matchup. Of course, last year, you and I had the chance to broadcast a game right here from the Eden Prairie High School that came down to a last-second 3, which Eden Prairie was able to hit to get a big victory over the Royals. And, of course, as you brought up, a very disappointing section loss for Eden Prairie. The Eagles, I think, had like a 7-point lead with just a few minutes left, and then they ended up giving up, I think, a 10-0 run to Hopkins as the Royals came away with a win. So hopefully we have the same type of game tonight.
Yeah, the Eagles this season, David Flum, his 10th year now, has won at least 18 games every single season. That obviously in jeopardy now. Play about a 25-game regular season schedule, has just 7 victories so far, but the team has talent and plays a lot of the pretty good opponents close. They just have not been able to close out any games. If you're referencing that section final loss, unable to close out that one, kind of extended into 2015-16 as that jumper missed by Coffey. where they've lost all 8 of their games in decisions decided by 5 or less. 0-8 in games decided by 5 or fewer as Chose drains the 3 to tie this one up at 5. And meanwhile, they're obviously 7-0 in games decided by any other point differential. This one figures to be a closer variety, so that would lend the advantage to Hopkins as a jumper is made. 3-pointer to make it 8-5. Brady Rudrud playing catch with Gillette. Cross-court pass is intercepted. Going to the hole. Johnson on the reverse, using the rim to protect the basketball from the trailing Eagle. He puts it up and in for 2. It's 10-5. Gillette guarded by Wright. Step-back jumper. Comes up short. And Davis with the board. Johnson up ahead quickly. Drives baseline, puts up a floater, no. Jacobus skies for the rebound. Over to Rudrud. A long 3, and he buries it, Steph Curry style. Shaheed to Coffey. Last year didn't play in either of the matchups, didn't play in very many of the games with that blown ACL as Davis gets inside position on the newly inserted Will Paul for the Eagles, scoring easily his 4th point of the night. 12-8, the Hopkins advantage. Gillette. Back to Paul. Right side, Rudrud, long 3 again, and he's good. Johnson might want to cover him more closely out there. He's extended the range and knocked 2 in a row down. Shaheed, pick and roll, nothing doing. Instead swings it around the horn. Coffey's triple is good. 15-11. Coffey with 5 quick points. Gillette pressured by the lanky Coffey. Goes from behind for the steal and will pick up the personal foul. Gillette had a coming out party. Brett, we covered 2 games last year. Both were thrillers for Eden Prairie. They were on the positive and negative side of each a season ago. Had over 20 points in that loss to Edina. They had a big lead in that one, let it slip away. It was 14 points at one point in the second half. And Edina ended up winning on a buzzer beater 3. Jacobus over to Chose. Skies that one and comes up too strong off the heel. Coffey thought about the 3. Instead sets up the offense. Coffey will take the runner and drain it. Able to sky over a couple of Eagles defenders. Kyler Klug is now in the game for Eden Prairie. Just a sophomore. In fact, the youngest member of David Flum's rotation here in this season. Johnson gets it over to Shaheed. Shaheed drives up and under, and he finishes. Nice ball control and body control as he finishes up high off the glass. Shows the jumper. He's open, can't get it to fall, and Davis with the rebound. 8-point lead now for Hopkins. Trying to push the tempo again. A foul. And it'll be an offensive foul, they say. Maybe a little bit of a clear out as Shaheed tried to go to the left side of the rim. It's his first personal foul. Just look out on the floor, and it's a lot more length and height on Hopkins than there is for Eden Prairie. Brady Rudrud's the only one that's even remotely competing in that category with Coffey, Davis, even Ishmael El Amin, who's guarding Klug, is pretty lengthy.
And even with that, Hopkins showing some finesse too, making some outside shots as we see another bucket for Eden Prairie. So you think at some point, if this game stays close, Hopkins might try to take advantage of their size.
Coffey, a 3, knocks it down again. 9-point lead. Jacobus to Rudrud. In the corner. On the drive. Almost airmailed that pass. Good catch by Klug. On the drive. Out to Jacobus for the three. Rims out. Rebound. Elamine. Johnson tries it from downtown, and he's got it as well. Got the colors of the Duke Blue Devils and shooting lights out from outside like them. 25-13.
As you'll see it on the split screen replay, just kind of a pull-up three. Nothing really too fancy right there, but turns out well for the Royals.
Coffee upset at a very clean but hard foul by Klug, not wanting to get the Hopkins crowd in a frenzy for a dunk. Good defensive play there, but Coffee obviously falling hard, getting upset and being a little reactive. Nice job by his teammates and the referees to intervene.
As you'll see on the replay, just not a very good turnover there by Eden Prairie, but I've watched it a few times here, Kevin. I know you don't have a vantage point of it, but you're absolutely right. Nothing really too dirty with it. I mean, it's just a good job to not get that Hopkins crowd pumped up and prevent an easy dunk.
Flum trying to argue it's not a flagrant. They did call it a flagrant foul.
Yeah, I would.
Which I would also disagree with because he went for the ball.
I could see it on the replay, too. Yeah, he clearly went for the ball, and it wasn't a hard foul at all. So I think Coach Flum certainly has an argument. But, of course, referees have to make that call in real time, and we saw it from a different vantage point than we did.
Well, there's a big difference when you're trying to sky for a dunk as Coffee tries a three and will bury it anyway. So a 4-point trip down at this end for the Hopkins offense off that bad turnover by the Eagles. The referees are basically just kind of looking at how hard he fell, and that's not necessarily indicative of the type of foul. All his momentum is trying to be carried toward the rim, and instead it gets altered and he ends up going to the floor. So tough call for the Eagles to take, but it is what it is. We just didn't get to see a dunk. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We just missed out on that.
And now Eden Prairie's in some real danger right now. They're down by double digits as they get the two-pointer, and that's what I think they're going to need more of. They've done well shooting from outside with those three-pointers, but of course you kind of live and die by the three-pointer and can't really rely on those to keep following the entire game. So if they can get some points in the paint, I think it'll be kind of be their strategy to get back in this one, trailing now by 14.
Johnson tried to drive the interior of this Eagles defense, get called for the walk. And it was a nice job on that previous sequence for the Eagles. Jacobus in the right place at the right time after Ruppert had been stripped. Chose dials in from distance, rattles it in. It's a big lift for the spirits of the Eagles crowd. 18-29. Coffee from outside. He's perfect, 4 for 4. At some point, you figure he's got to settle down and cool off. So, at the same time, if you're the Eagles, you got to defend beyond the arc, and so far they haven't really been doing that.
For the basketball gods here, and you're Eden Prairie, you're thinking, come on, the guy's already talented enough. We don't need to give him the game of his life where he can't miss a shot.
Jacobus airballs a runner. Try to put too much touch on it. I've done that plenty before. Elamine three-pointer rims out. And the rebound taken by Paul. Shows at 23 points the last time these teams met in the regular season, including that game-winning three that we referenced earlier. Paul on the drive, slips by a defender and gets the bounce. Nice soft shooter's touch. Off the left part of the rim, 20-32. Shahid swings it to Coffee. Coffee dials it in from deep. 5 for 5 from outside.
Hey, Kevin, do you remember playing NBA Jam as a kid where if you made 3 buckets in a row, you could get on fire?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the case here for Coffee. He literally could not miss.
Ruppert with a nice spin move, but couldn't finish. A better spin and reverse lay-in by Xavier Johnson. The athleticism and shooting precision of Hopkins pulling away from Eden Prairie now. and Flum nothing to do but take a timeout, 37-20. You're watching PSB Media.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Timmy. I hope you're hungry.
Sure am, but I prefer broccoli to mushrooms.
Well, I prefer your brother to you.
Don't mess with Grandma's dishes. Mess with ours instead. Delicious dishes from around the globe that you're free to customize. Noodles and Company, your world kitchen.
Welcome back to Eden Prairie High School. Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson with your coverage of Eden Prairie and Hopkins boys basketball. It's been a shooting clinic, like they're at practice for Hopkins, especially from the outside. Don't have the stats pulled up if you're just joining us. I do know Amir Coffey, their star, committed to the U. Next season is 5 for 5 from outside. Overall, 8 or 9 total threes, helping them to these 37-point outbursts. Still about halfway to go in the first half. Out of that timeout, Cho's able to knock down a jumper to cut the lead for Hopkins to 15. Still a long way to go. Davis tries his hand from outside. He doesn't check that it was Wright who tried it, and he couldn't quite find the distance. Foul called on the drive by Paul. Personal committed on Davis. Paul gets ready to go to the charity stripe. This is the second time we've had anyone shooting free throws in this game, Brett.
Yeah,
it's been so back and forth, but very clean as well, with the exception of that flagrant call that shouldn't have been a flagrant, but whatever. Paul rims that one in. The junior averages 7.3 points this season. First year with the varsity squad. All the other regulars in Flum's rotation have been on varsity at least one other season. So he's kind of the newbie in that regard. Playing well this year for these 7 and 8 Eagles. Coffey tries to get an extension with an arm bar, but it's Rudrud who gets called for the personal. Didn't shuffle his feet nearly quick enough.
Well, when you have a guy who hasn't missed a shot, sometimes that best defense is just fouling him and trying to get the ball out of his hands.
Rotates it to right, another open three, and again, can't find the range from this near side corner. Eden Prairie a chance to cut it under a dozen. And now trailing by the Baker's dozen. Rudrud lobs up a three. That one kind of line drives off the front of the rim. Goes across the cylinder. Coffey stumbles, regains his footing, throws up a wild one high off the glass and kisses it in.
Well, even if you throw it up wildly, it's still going in. What an unbelievable start for him.
39-14, a lob pass just off camera to Gillette. Rotates it to the left side, shows double team, banks it up and in. Great fundamentals there and beautiful touch. Alameen. Newly inserted Anthony Davis, not from Kansas, or Kentucky rather. Long three, kicks off the back rim. Davis, nice rebound, able to keep his balance as well. Resets through Alameen. Alameen gets a pick, hucks up a three. That one long as well. So we've had, after Hopkins was shooting lights out from downtown, they've had 4 consecutive misses from the outside. A reach-in foul called against Davis as Rudrud tried to go from a drive. Right wing to the charity stripe area. 39-26, 6.5 to play in this first half.
Yeah, I'd like to remind everyone that one of our sponsors for tonight's game is Jim Wardine with Corporate 4 Insurance. He's locally involved in the community, volunteering with lots of different Eden Prairie organizations, parent of an Eden Prairie athlete, so you know you can work with someone who knows the community, and also being an independent agent, he can find you the best rates on anything from business to personal insurance. Go to BetterMinnesotaInsurance.com, BetterMinnesotaInsurance.com.
Gillette from downtown. 10-point game.
Thought you were going to say Gillette.
Stadium?
The best shave, yeah. I couldn't think of that tagline, though, but I'm sure he's heard that many times throughout his life.
Davis, nice runner from the far side. 41-29. Jacobus swings it over Paul. Slows down tempo just a bit. Hopkins, by the way, averaging over 92 points per game this season as Gillette goes on the drive. No, the follow no. Got his own miss, but couldn't convert. Coffee. We got a couple good names. Gillette, Coffee. Kind of brand name everywhere, right? I know Coffee is not a brand name, but it's still it could be.
You usually have your coffee after you shave with your Gillette.
Yep. Long jumper, no, from Paul.
Someone just needs the last name of a car, because that's typically what you do in the morning. I suppose you need a breakfast food first.
Yeah, you do. On the spinning drive, Jacobus, and one.
Well, a good job there, as you'll watch on the replay, just to get his hand in the way of that pass and cause that turnover as Hopkins was looking to go inside. See a nice little spin move there, able to draw the foul and create a chance at a three-point play, just what Eden Prairie needs. They've kind of been rotating between, falling behind by 17 points, cutting it to 12 or 13, then Hopkins re-extends this lead. So we'll see if Eden Prairie can cut into this, maybe get it down to single digits by halftime.
He checks back in, replaces Jacobus. Yeah, you're exactly right. Both teams are kind of going on mini runs, but unfortunately, if you're an Eagle fan, the run gets you to about 10 or 12 as opposed to, taking the lead. Still a long way to go for that. Davis on the drive. Over the contest by Gillette, finishes strong with the right hand. It's one of the weapons off Ken Novak's bench. He's produced a couple of points, 2 buckets so far. Inside, unable to finish. It's good to see the Eagles challenging inside. Again, we've mentioned the length of Hopkins, but a lot of the guys aren't really rim protectors. So, despite the disparity in the lane, the Eagles showing no fear and getting good looks, just not finishing. That three made by Wright makes it a 17-point lead. And again, unable to finish in the painted area. Rudroot couldn't get the roll off the front of the cylinder. Coffee spins, works his way inside, dishes off to Wright, who wasn't ready for the pass. He would have had an easy finish, but was ill-prepared. And Eden Prairie turns it right back over.
Just as we predicted, after Eden Prairie cut it down to a 12-point lead just a few minutes ago, they're back down by 17, a game of many runs. And defensively, the Eagles, as you said, Kevin, they don't have a rim protector, but they got to find a way to get something going defensively. Hopkins well on pace for over 100 in this game so far.
They've gotten over 100 on several occasions this season, and going in for the two-handed slam is El Amin, excuse me. I butchered that. I should have been prepared. It was a dunk.
We'll let it slide.
Ruppert inside. Alameen didn't have the angle. Another layup attempt, but both too far underneath the basket. So Alameen and Johnson couldn't hit. Now Gillette lost defensively in transition, gets an easy put in. 2 quick buckets by the Eagles. Back and forth we go, but I made that mention about Coffee looking like, or actually Rudroot, I think, looking like Seth Curry, right? Shooting from way outside. Well, the Hopkins Royals are kind of like the Golden State Warriors, as an easy basket is converted by Wright inside because they can put up points in an awful hurry.
Well, no kidding. 53-36, and there's still 2 minutes left in the first half. I mean, Hopkins is on pace for what, if they keep this rate up, maybe 120 points in this game.
Man, that would be their season high. Eden Prairie normally known as a, somewhat of a grinded out, slower tempo team. And not getting too obsessed with colors, but if we talk about collegiate teams, the Eagles are more like a Wisconsin Badger team, and Hopkins more like a Duke Blue Devil team, and yet here tonight playing at that pace, that fiery pace of the Hopkins Royals. Skying in, showing the ball and finishing strong is Elamine. What a play there. And a turnover as Klug wasn't even looking for the basketball. Still probably thinking about what his opposition did to him on the drive before.
Yeah, take a look at this again. That is just a nasty move.
Shahid, the handoff to Davis from outside, and he knocks it in. Biggest lead of the game now. Moments ago it was a 10-point deficit. Now the Eagles face a 22-point margin. Again, they've struggled in close games this year, but all of their losses by fewer than 6 points. Right now, a big mountain to climb. Jacobus helps get him in the right direction for now with an outside jumper. Cuts the deficit to 19.
Now, we don't have the official stats in front of us, but it would be interesting to see the percentage of possessions in which Hopkins gets points. It feels like it's got to be, about 75%. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders tonight.
Davis inside, drawing the double team perfectly with Shahid. Bounce pass inside, and Davis had no trouble converting. Jacobus launches another three, and he'll hit it. He and Cho's trying to carry this Eagles comeback. They've got to make stops defensively. He'll sky for the rebound. Try to push it in transition. He'll try his hot hands, and he comes up short and wide. Rebound by Wright.
You said, Kevin, they need to get some defensive stops because offensively you're looking at it. 42 points in one half of play is pretty darn good, but it's been the defensive end where they've had some trouble, and I think Eden Prairie almost mercifully will think, well, at least they're going to only take one more shot here in the first half. 60 points already. Yikes.
Well, you even see Wright here with the basketball panting a little bit. I know these guys are in shape. Novak Jr. does a great job conditioning his players, but, this pace has been absurd. So I bet they are all happy that they're getting the break.
You're talking about 60 points in 18 minutes of play. That is really, really impressive. NBA teams don't even get on that kind of run.
No, they don't. Long three off the back iron, Wright with the rebound, and puts it up and in. Simon Wright before the buzzer. 62-42 will be the halftime score from Eden Prairie. What a performance by the visiting Royals as they look to extend their winning streak to begin this year to 16. You're watching PSB Media.
Dean with Corporate 4 Insurance is your one-stop shop for business and personal insurance. With over 30 years experience, Jim knows the importance of personal relationships and actually getting to know his clients so he can find the right, customizable protection for everything that's important to you. Plus, Jim is an independent agent, which means he's able to shop for the best rates among more than 100 A and A+ rated carriers. Jim also believes in giving back to the community. As the parent of an Eden Prairie High School athlete, he volunteers with the Eden Prairie High School Band, Eden Prairie Hockey Association, is an active member of the Eden Prairie Chamber of Commerce, and supporter of the Pinky Swear Foundation. That means you know you're working with someone who knows the community. So start saving on protecting everything that's important to you by calling Jim Mordine with Corporate 4 Insurance, 952-746-3075, online at BetterMinnesotaInsurance.com.
Hey, pal, if you haven't swung over to CrankyApe.com, then you're missing the coolest auction site on the web. CrankyApe.com is the only joint you'll ever need for ridiculous deals on bank repos, insurance reparables, and dealer liquidations. We have everything that rolls, floats, or has an engine, and the selection changes every day. And don't worry if you're not a wrench, most of our stuff don't need nothing but a coat of wax. Bottom line, if you're born to bid, you shouldn't be monkeying around anywhere else.
I wish it was spring.
Hello, Carl.
Whoa, who are you?
I'm the Mulch Store Genie.
Well, your entrance music makes you sound like an alien.
We Mulch Store Genies survive on grass and compost, not snow and ice.
If you're a genie, where's your lamp?
Mulch Store Genies live... Never mind you. Let's get to the point. You had a wish for me, Carl.
Yeah, I wished it would be spring.
Your wish is my command.
Sweet, this is much better. Wow, my lawn looks great too.
Indeed, Carl. That's the power of the Mulch Store genius.
Thanks.
Tell your friends of my mulching powers.
The Mulch Store, granting beautiful lawn and landscaping wishes since 2000. Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Stay current on what's going on in your local community. The Sun Current is a local community newspaper that serves several communities in the Southwest Metro, including Eden Prairie, Edina, and Bloomington. The Sun Current will keep you up to date with the latest comings and goings on your school board, city council, arts and entertainment, and community events. And make sure you check out their in-depth high school sports coverage featuring weekly articles on Eden Prairie, Edina, Jefferson, and Kennedy. From football and hockey to tennis and swimming, the Sun Current has your favorite team covered. Keep it local and visit the Sun Current website at current.mnsun.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Lanslink, Clinic Administrator and Care Coordinator for Advocare Clinics, and I want to welcome you to our facility. If you're looking at this right now, you're probably searching for a new location for care for a new or chronic injury. And I want to assure you that we have a lot of services in one location that are convenient for you, and we can combine more options for you than you'll find at most other pain management or big box medical clinics.
I like the staff. They're friendly, they're supportive, they're encouraging, they're cautious, and they rearrange my exercise schedule based on what my symptoms are.
I want to welcome you and invite you to stop by for a free consultation with me as a care coordinator to see how we could best serve you and what kind of results we think we can get for you.
Contact us at 952-835-6653 or online at advocaremn.com.
Well, sir, after some serious consideration, I'd like to put in my 15-year notice.
You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Well, I'm going to finish packing my things. 15 years will really sneak up on you.
Jennifer will do your exit interview, and Adam made you a cake.
Red velvet.
Oh, thank you.
I made this.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie, a local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbier.com.
Our goal at FCA Hockey is to help players and coaches become more confident in their game while challenging them to grow deeper in their relationship with Jesus Christ. FCA Hockey works with players of all levels, from professional to college, from adult to youth. FCA Hockey exists to make an eternal impact. With overnight and day camps, adult and junior tournaments, and specialty teams, we have opportunities for everyone. For more information on how you can get involved, check out fcahockey.com.
During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please, tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
Hey, pal, if you haven't swung over to CrankyApe.com, then you're missing the coolest auction site on the web. CrankyApe.com is the only joint you'll ever need for ridiculous deals on bank repos, insurance reparables, and dealer liquidations. We have everything that rolls, floats, or has an engine, and the selection changes every day. And don't worry if you're not a wrench, most of our stuff don't need nothing but a coat of wax. Bottom line, if you're born to bid, you shouldn't be monkeying around anywhere else.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing several PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie boys hockey on the big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food and watch the EP boys hockey team at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean pizza, the Tavern turkey burger, and my personal favorite, the cheesy tater tots. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5, located just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
There comes a time when even an all-star sister can use some assistance himself.
Do I need to be worried about identity theft? Everybody does. So that's when somebody tries to use my name? Uh-huh. My likeness? Yes, sir. Like if they try to look like me, but with a fake mustache? Yep. And glasses? Yes, exactly. I think I'm gonna need some help with that.
When assisting is in your blood, you know it.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbeer's State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie, a local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbeer.com.
I really loved this book. Me too. What was your favorite part? The beginning?
The beginning was good.
Did anyone actually read the book?
I really like this wine.
You don't need a book club to drink wine with friends. Great wine and globally inspired food at Noodles & Company, your world kitchen.
The toughest sport on skates. Fastest sport on skates. Quebec City, Canada. Germany. Jyväskylä, Finland. St. Paul, USA. Watch it live. RedBullCraftIce.com.
Winter. Yeah, give me a break.
It's never too early to think green. Springtime lawns and savings. The Mulch Store is a great community resource for landscaping and other landscaping materials. Coming soon, the Mulch Store will be offering its in-store products online. MulchStoreMN.com. Browse and buy mulch, soils, grass seed, rocks, edging, and more. Everything you need to make your neighbors green with envy. The MulchStoreMN.com. Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee. Wrapping up halftime here from Eden Prairie High School. Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson with your coverage tonight on PSB Media of Lake Conference Boys Basketball. Oh boy, what a performance in the first half by the Hopkins Royals. Top teams in the state, 15-0 to begin this year with impressive wins already over the likes of Lakeville North, Apple Valley, and trying to add Eden Prairie. I know they're down this year, but a team that's historically very competitive in the Lake Conference here tonight. 5 threes at one point made in a row by Coffey as he sets up the alley-oop for Wright.
Well, they missed a few alley-oops in the first half, did both teams, but this one absolutely connects. What a pass. Hopkins starting right where they left off.
Offensive rebound taken by Gillette. Jacobus guarded by Coffey. Didn't like that matchup, so backed away. Good choice as chose. Knocks down the elbow jumper.
What I always like about basketball is how different made shots can get such different reactions from the crowd, yet they both equal the same number of points. An alley-oop than a boring jump shot.
Exactly.
Feels like an alley-oop should be worth like 6 points or something.
Another slammer-jammer inside for Davis. Dunk clinic. The first half, it was a three-point clinic. So far, both field goals by the Royals in the second half. Dunks. This shot by the Eagles. Johnson to Coffey. Coffey with a nice crossover. Rudrud looking for the call.
I just want to make sure you were recording that, Kevin. Even though he was fouled, Coffey just missed a shot. Got to get that like as a saved replay. He finally missed.
Throwing it off the backside of an Eagle player, not paying attention.
Wow.
Shaheed passes it inbounds to himself and finishes with the 2.
Take a look at this. We'll have the split screen replay going. Oh, you feel bad for the Eden Prairie guy, but that's just a great play.
It's been that kind of night. The disparity between these two teams is right. Knocks it down in front of his bench. Players standing up to applaud. Showing off his NBA range for certain. Paul inside draws a foul. He kind of sighs with relief. I just don't know that these Eagles knew what was coming tonight.
No, part of it, too, is that Hopkins has just been absolutely on fire on the offensive end. I mean, you look at Eden Prairie offensively, they've had a pretty solid game. 42 points at halftime, as we brought up, is a pretty solid number, but there's just been a train coming down the tracks here for this Hopkins offense, and it's been coming down the tracks hard.
Inside, good pass, and Paul able to finish over the outstretched arm of Wright. 71-46 the score. Shaheed on the dribble drive. Inside Davis. No problem. Over the top of Chose. Gillette thought about the 3. Rotates the ball. Corner. Quick double team and a trap. Chose throws out of it. Turns it over. Shaheed all alone. And he'll lay it up and in. I guess doesn't quite have the ups for another dunk.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the size for that, but way too many easy points in this half here for Hopkins. You know Coach David Flum can't be happy about that. I'm sure he's going to talk things over with his team to try to see if they can figure out something defensively, because obviously what they had here to start the second half has not been working.
No, not at all. Normally the Eagles allow just 62 points per game for an entire game. Right now, 75 on the board.
Well, I got to ask you a question here.
What's the record for most points that they've ever given up?
I was going to ask you, isn't it 75-48?
No, they just hit a 3.
Okay.
It was 49, and then there was a 3-pointer.
I must have missed a bucket. All right, because I know a second ago on the scoreboard they were messing up the score a little bit. They had Hopkins with 71, which was too many earlier. Anyways, keep going. I'm rambling.
Well, I was just wondering, and I don't have this in front of me, maybe you want to email us if you somehow, have a eidetic memory and can recall every single score in Eagles basketball history, perhaps. What's the most points Eden Prairie's ever given up in a regulation high school game?
Wow. That is a heck of a question. And if you want to answer that question, we are announcers at psbmn.com, announcers at psbmn.com. You can also click that link below your game tracker screen. We don't have any rewards if you get that trivia question correct, but it would be interesting to know.
Well, I want to know it just for the sake of knowing it. What's Hopkins' point record? I bet that's more impressive than the amount Eden Prairie's given up, i.e. a higher total. But a season high for Hopkins. They've gotten to 111 twice, including just about 10 days ago against Waconia, winning 111-86, which could very well be a final again here tonight. Similar margin.
Just a second ago, I think we saw some better energy defensively by Eden Prairie, nearly causing a turnover. Now you see some pressure being put on in the backcourt. We'll see if that slows down that Hopkins offense a little bit.
Wright has not yet made a shot from either corner tonight, but he's been pretty good everywhere else as Chose comes up short on his wing jumper. Offensive rebound to Paul, backdoor cut, great feed. Klug to Chose for the easy two. Wright tried to say he was shooting when he was clearly not anywhere near the basket. Still spinning around. And they'll call the foul on the floor. Shahid looking to inbound, maybe give it to himself again. No, this time goes to Davis. Head fakes. Back pedals. Coffee top key three. Long. Loose ball kicks out to Shahid, and he has his pocket picked by Paul. Great defense there. Rudrud. And tripped up as Chose as he goes for a drive. Shaking off his wrist right in front of us.
If you have a big game coming up that you'd like us to stream right here on PSP, we can do so. Go to psbmedia.com. Let us know what you have coming up. We'd be happy to get it on the air in HD like you're seeing tonight with replays. Hopefully professional announcers.
Why are you saying that? Are you trying to rag on me or what?
Ragging on us a little bit, but
okay.
Yeah, we can absolutely get your games on air. If you have a big one coming up or maybe an entire season's worth, if you're looking ahead to next year, go to psbmedia.com, psbmedia.com, and we'd be more than happy to speak with you. It was a self-deprecating joke that fell flat there, Kevin.
Gotcha. I'm not used to you making many jokes. That's why I don't think I realized it was a joke.
I'm not sure the viewers would have either.
Rudrud on the baseline drive. Airmails that one. Good save by Shahid. One-handed pass. Sends that one like a dart to Coffey. Coffey using his body to create some separation. Draws the foul. Doesn't have a lot of meat on the bones, but can still lower the body and create some separation. Speaking of how impressive the Hopkins Royals point total is, again, wondering what the most ever allowed by Eden Prairie is. How about this? Royals are just 4 points away from their season low in points. We've got 13 and a half minutes left. Season low just 79, or is 79. Eden Prairie's averaging 71.
I was going to say, for some teams, that would be their season high.
I know. For Providence Academy teams, that would be. They play so slow tempo. I remember a game we covered 3 years ago. It was like 38-32 was the final.
It's true for both the boys and the girls for that school, and not to criticize them. I mean, they win a bunch of games, but it's certainly a much different style when you try to slow it down like that. All Hopkins fans might remember, what was it, that state semifinal a few years ago against Shakopee that repeatedly went to overtime?
Yeah, 4 overtime game, and then Coffey hit the three-quarter court bucket.
But that was after, I think, they were holding the ball for like 2-minute spans.
Yeah.
I remember people criticizing Hopkins for that, but also can't say Shakopee was blameless. They weren't exactly pressuring the ball. They certainly could have sped them up as well. But
yeah,
it's the strategy of Minnesota high school basketball. When there's no shot clock, sometimes it is the best strategy to play for that final shot.
Exactly. Ruppert good on the first. The second one up. Short. Nice fight by Gillette, but Better positioning inside by Wright. Perhaps a travel, and indeed that was the call. Coffey wanting a foul there.
So I'm just going to let everyone know they have on the scoreboard now 52 points for Eden Prairie, so that's what we're going to roll with for now. Apparently they took away 2 points.
Yeah, who knows? Remember a game we covered? Girls basketball, same sort of thing, where Kennedy got extra credit for some Or was that at Kennedy? Was that here or Kennedy?
It was here, but it was Kennedy against the Eden Prairie girls basketball team, and we were joking, saying, what if the game comes down to a one-possession type finish?
And it would be funny, too, because it's an Eden Prairie scorekeeper that would be giving credit to the away team.
Yeah, where's the hometown scorekeeper for us?
Yeah. Good jumper by Gillette. He's pushing tempo. Chose 2-on-1, and he finishes. Nice speed and ability to finish, rather, for number 23. Down to a 19-point deficit. This was as many as 27. It's been as close as 10 if you're talking midway point of the game. Early on, it was at one point tied 10-10. That was the last time Eden Prairie's been that close. A three converted by Chose.
Well, suddenly Eden Prairie's starting to crack into this lead a little bit. Now just down by 18 points. You just got to keep playing by small segments, get it down to 12, and maybe think about single digits. But when Hopkins hits another three, certainly going to make that tough.
Just like that, Alameen converts. I was about to say, Eden Prairie's defense has picked up just a bit here in the second half. Close to an over and back, able to avoid it, and then draw the personal. Nice tightrope walking circus affair by Gillette there. It saves the day.
Take a look, very close to becoming a backcourt violation. Nice job to tiptoe and at least keep Eden Prairie with possession.
Just like most sports where the object, the ball, puck, what have you, has to completely cross over. The basketball has to completely cross over as well. The player able to save that in that instance. Long jumper. Couldn't get the shot to fall. Differential remains 21. Shaheed inside, knocked away by Rudrud. Out of bounds. Remains Hopkins basketball.
Or you can follow us on Twitter. We're at PSBMN on Twitter, tweeting about all the latest on Eden Prairie, Chanhassen, Kennedy, and Jefferson athletics. At PSBMN is where you can find our Twitter handle. I know, Kevin, you've been sending out a few tweets throughout tonight about the matchup, and I'm sure you were tweeting about how hot the Hopkins offense was back in that first half.
I did. Coffey draws the foul. Had Rudrud on his back with a great ball fake. And so far, Hopkins really hasn't shown a flaw in their game, but been real impressed with their ability to get points drawn up off the inbounds. Or they just make it up, ad-lib it like Shaheed did. I think that was one of my favorite plays I've seen. I have not yet witnessed that in a high school game, so I'm sure it's happened before, but at least for my perception, that was pretty funny. Rudrud to Jacobus. Extra pass behind the back, and finishing is Chose. What a great pass by Klug. Another three knocked down by Elamine. He's been a stud off the bench for Novak. Stolen away. Here he goes, getting ready for the dunk.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest finish, but hey, it works.
It was like a 4/5 dunk, but still, it'll count for two. 87-61. Klug stripped cleanly and out of bounds off of him. Nice defense and quick hands by Shaheed. Shahid slowing the pace. Up ahead to Johnson. We haven't seen much of him in the second half, and then he just turns it over badly. So maybe he won't play for a little while longer yet. Good drive by Klug. Again, just a sophomore, showing his determination in getting to the rim.
Let's see, not a real good pass there delivered by Hopkins, and good job there by Eden Prairie to at least get to the free throw line. Boy, Kevin, I can't recall many times they've actually been on the free throw line in tonight's game, and part of that, I think,
this is free throw 7 for him.
Well, it's not a whole lot, though.
No,
but
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, you brought up earlier in the broadcast how Hopkins certainly holds that height advantage, and, of course, when you're the smaller team, you don't really get that many free throw chances when you can't try to get those points in the paint.
You're right. They have no James Hardens on their team, who's probably the best in the NBA at drawing fouls in the act of shooting. Bad pass, Coffey. Rare mistake. It's too tall for the 6'8" Eric Davis. You know it's got to be really high if it's too tall for him.
Yeah.
Gillette, near side. Long three for Chose. Too strong.
And here in this second half, his three-point shot just has not been falling. In the first half, I think he made about, 3 of his first 4 or 5 shots, but just have not been getting those threes to go down here in the second.
That was a travel or a jump, and it's called a jump ball. Coffey grabbed, or basketball rather, grabbed cleanly by Chose. Nice job. Is that all kind of that melee there started with an air ball, an open air ball, mind you, by El Amin. He's had his shot. It's looked good most of the night, but not on that sequence. Score remains 25. The advantage for Hopkins, 87-62. Another air ball, but this one goes the Eagles' way. Another three tried. No! Somehow in one motion able to tap that one in on the follow. Rudrud with the offhand.
Yeah, take a look at that. It kind of clanged off the rim, but that's a very athletic play by Rudrud.
That might as well be a tip-in jam at this level, and that was very impressive. Rudrud pushing tempo, going behind the back. Ball rotates far corner. 3-0. Coffey wants to push it and drives right into the body of Rudrud for the personal foul. He was the one kind of initiating the contact, and I'm not saying that's an offensive foul or anything, but I mean that's a good way to go to the free throw line, but Rudrud just kind of got stuck in the wrong place there.
Yeah, exactly. Playing Hopkins, as you can see on the replay, does such a good job of knocking the ball on that defensive rebound back the other way to set up a fast break opportunity, which leads to free throw for Hopkins.
They like to run.
I'm sure they certainly practice that, where if you're a defensive rebounder, you try to knock it towards the other hoop to get something going the other way.
Up next for Hopkins, Brooklyn Center in the Roosevelt MLK Classic this weekend. Also Minneapolis North on Tuesday, and next week what could be a very good matchup against Minnetonka. Minnetonka, the second best team record-wise in the Lake Conference.
The Minneapolis North game could be interesting, too. They're usually a powerhouse in 1A who has lots of talent. They probably won't have the depth to compete with Hopkins, but it'll be interesting to watch the first half of that game when maybe the Polars can stay with them before they probably get worn down. Again, that's mostly because it's a 1A versus 4A school.
Yeah, disadvantage there. For Eden Prairie, they're next at Cretin-Durham Hall on Tuesday, at Edina Friday, and then host the Jaguars of Bloomington Jefferson on January 26th. El Amin works his way to the top. Left side, bad pass, so a couple mistakes in a row for him. It's been a spark plug off the bench so far, though. If you're grading his overall effort tonight.
Hey, Kevin, you were bringing up how a couple weeks Eden Prairie has a matchup with Bloomington Jefferson. That'll be a Section 2 matchup, and Eagles got to find a way to get some wins against section opponents. I was looking at the section standings online just before the game, and out of the 8 teams, Eden Prairie sitting down in 6th place, so certainly a tall hill to climb. Very tough to make a run to the state tournament when you're the number 6 seed in your own section.
Yeah, I would agree, and normally, when they've been in Section 2, the last 2 years, unfortunately for them, stuck in Section 6, losing in the section finals back-to-back years to Hopkins. But before that, the previous 4 years in Section 2, they made it to the state tournament every single time.
That was mostly because a few years ago, Section 2 didn't quite have the same power that it has now. This year, you got some good teams with Edina, Minnetonka, and especially the Shakopee Sabres, where areas in years past, we were kind of joking that it was almost like a layup every year for Eden Prairie to get to state when that section didn't quite have the same number of powerhouses that it has now.
So on that last sequence, a foul by Rudrud. He was just trying to go for the basketball, but got in a little bit of a arm shot to the head, maybe, area of Amir Coffey, and the Hopkins fans didn't like that at all.
Yeah, probably not in the waning minutes of a 25-point game, but we'll have to see what Hopkins does there. Good turnover.
Jacobus can't finish. Chose does on the follow. Chose has got just great basketball instincts, always follows the basketball wherever it is, and again, only 6'1", but he can get up there with those offensive rebounds, times it very well. In that case, able to convert on the layup.
You saw in that possession with that big margin deficit-wise, Hopkins slowed it down a little bit, and I think messed up their rhythm as it led to an Eden Prairie turnover and then a putback for a bucket. Not a good practice here for Hopkins, though, because when they face some really strong opponents later in sections and possibly state tournament play, they might have to slow things down.
I think they have the ability. I shouldn't say a lot, but several of these players were participants in that Shakopee 4-overtime thriller a couple of years ago. They're also part of that thrilling game where Lakeville North won on a buzzer beater to beat them in the state championship game, 84-82. These guys have tons of talent, but they've come up short the last couple of years, so hoping this year, in certainly Coffey's case, Shahid's case, their final chance at a state championship. Inside, a dunk from Coffey. Has everybody, including the Hopkins student section, on their feet.
What a find on that pass as well. Give him credit as well, but that was a big-time dunk by the Royals.
Travel on Gillette. Tried to go up and under, but he jumped out of his own Nikes. And it's 93-66, tying the largest lead of the game for the Royals. Just over 5 to play. Might see some benches emptied here in the next couple of minutes for both these teams. But certainly the pace has slowed, and no reason to keep your foot on the accelerator. Just a regular season contest. They were on pace, though, the Royals at halftime for 124 points. No good. Coffey with the offensive board. Seems like every long rebound has gone the way of the Royals tonight. And again, agree. I guess you could say length certainly has an advantage there, but at the same time, just the positioning has been slightly off for the Eagles, where all the loose balls seem to be going the Royals' way.
And Hopkins also seems to have more athleticism on their team, too. That certainly helps in terms of quickness in trying to get to those rebounds.
Long jumper for Paul. He converts. Not as wide open as he could possibly want. Got about 7 points in this one. El-Amin to Johnson. He got the start. He's played a lot less in this second half. Finds Coffey. Quick turnaround. No. Paul with the rebound. Moves the ball inside underneath. Can't get the roll. Jacobus, nice try. Paul with a loose ball, fighting for it. And the ball knocked out of bounds by Elamine. So good hustle by Paul, scrapping his way for an extra possession for his Eagles. Jacobus to Gillette, long jumper. Good. He's got such a sweet stroke. Johnson to Elamine. Shaheed slowing the tempo way down inside of 4 to play. Davis. Those two playing hot potato. Apparently it's only lukewarm because they're holding on to it for a fair amount of time.
So it's lukewarm potato. That's a new game I want to play.
I want to play it too. Knocked out by Paul. Remain Hopkins basketball. Shaheed. Double teams. Gets out, no problem. Nice, like bowling pass almost over to Coffee. Shaheed. And you notice the Eagles generally don't like to get too close up to the ball handler because they can get beaten off the dribble so easily. And Shaheed knocks down a triple. Able to kill off more than 65 seconds on that possession and still finish with a good look and a three-pointer. Now a steal. There goes Johnson. He'll lay it up and in. Approaching the century mark. Just one more bucket. And the Royals will have done it.
Well, you brought up they had 62 points at halftime, so not bad when you can score, 38 in one half and still have 100 for the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, not a bad offensive performance by Eden Prairie either with 71 points and counting, but this Royals team has just been too much for them.
There have been 4 instances this season out of the 15 games played that Hopkins has scored at least 100. So figure to make it 5. Unless, of course, they just milk the clock all the way down after this possession, after these free throws. Paul. Rimmed out. I know it's not going to matter in the final score, but the Eagles have hit less than 50% of their free throws now. I think they've gone 1 for 2 in every single sequence, and here since Paul missed the front end, they'd be slightly below 50.
If I recall, I know you've covered more games of theirs than of the past than I have, but they've typically been a pretty good free throw shooting team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, normally they're pretty good. J.J. Drew seeing some extended playing time, a football player who likes a lot of our tweets, so that's nice.
And how about this segue? If you'd like to follow us on Twitter like he does, we're at PSBMN. At PSBMN. What a team we are, Kevin. You set me up and I finish it off like an alley-oop.
Good job.
Yeah.
Kevin and Brett, 1 alley-oop. Yeah. Hopkins, Royals, 2?
Yeah.
We're still
I
trailing.
think 4 attempts, though. I think they're batting about 500 on those alley-oops, though.
Inside to Drew, too strong. On the follow, able to convert Ruppert. 98-73. Lots of new players in the game. This 3 tried by Davis. No, but the offensive rebound again. Another offensive rebound tracked down by John Martins, a 6'3" sophomore. Also in the game, Daryl Mayfield, a 6'1" junior guard. He's number 12. 31, that's Blaze Beaucamp. He's appeared in 10 games this season. He's just an 8th grader.
Hey, you were saying you wanted to get a look at him being just an 8th grader playing varsity. You don't see too many of those types of guys.
And especially on a team like
school.
a Hopkins Royals team.
I mean, granted, you might in some small towns where you just don't have the numbers, but yeah, at a school as big as Hopkins with the tradition, to be an 8th grader playing varsity, oh man, you got to have some talent.
In the game for the Eagles, including the guy with the rebound, Tommy Anderson, a 6'4" wing. Ruppert, Klug, he'll try the 3 right in front of us. Comes up short. Offensive rebound by Anderson. And he converts. Also out on the floor, Drake Dobbs. He's just an 8th grader. So 2 8th graders doing battle, playing each other one-on-one. Or man-on-man, I should say.
Well, if they're 8th graders, it might be boy on boy.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Inside Davis, great positioning right in front of the last guy I have yet to mention, Antonio Montero. He's the special teams placement kicker. Got such a great control with his foot. Can kick those squib kicks, recovered some onside kicks, set him up for the Eden Prairie Eagles. Been on the varsity squad the last 2 seasons.
I like, go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to say, seeing some playing time in a rare instance here tonight.
I was going to joke here on our scoreboard. We've never had to use triple digits before, so I can't get all the numbers to fit on the screen. But it is 101 to 75. Not like where you see in some towns where scoreboards can't do it. They have to reset it, so you'd sit there and think, oh, what, Hopkins has 1 point? 75 to 1?
Anderson no good on the free throw. Triple for Daryl Mayfield. Both these teams, in garbage time, they're not going to just hold on to the basketball. They got to get their varsity points in. The 8th grader from outside. He drains it. Dobbs. Maybe Beaucamp wants to respond. No. He won't get the basketball. Instead, it goes over to their 7-footer, number 40, who's not on the roster, and the time and game clock expire. Very impressive performance tonight for the Hopkins Royals. They put up 104 on the Eden Prairie Eagles, moved to 16-0 to begin 2015-16. The Eagles drop further below 500 to 7-9. Thank you to our sponsors, including Noodles & Company, Jim Werdine, as well as Brandy Warmbier, State Farm Insurance Agent, for your support this season. If you have any requests or interest in seeing more games streamed, just contact us at announcers@psb.com for Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson.
PSBmedia.
Or psbmedia.com, yes.
You just go to psbmedia.com. You'll find contact info on there.
Exactly.
But in all seriousness, though, we would love to cover your games. We have all sorts of great deals we can offer you, and hopefully an opportunity to maybe make some money for your team or booster club. Go to psbmedia.com.
Otherwise, very fun to cover the team and game tonight. For Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson, wishing you well. Happy Martin Luther King weekend. Final score one more time. Hopkins 104, the Eagles 79.
Thanks for tuning in to live, local, play-by-play coverage of tonight's game. Catch all the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports, PSB Media. Tonight's game was brought to you by The Mulch Store, Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office, Athlete BT, Noodles & Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5.
And in partnership with Minnesota Hockey Magazine and BEC TV.
You can find an archived broadcast of tonight's game available 24/7 on psbmn.com.